What is up, and welcome to today's interview with Edgar. For those of you who do not know, Edgar is a multi-million dollar POD seller, mainly focused on the platform of Etsy. So today I'm hoping to extract out some golden nuggets from Edgar to provide value for all of you. So thank you so much for coming on today, Edgar, and really excited to ask you some really in-depth questions.
Of course, I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I can add a lot of value to everybody here listening.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, as we're jumping into things here, if you could maybe give me a little bit of backstory on who you are and how you got started in the POD space.
Yeah, so like Jesse said, my name is Edgar. I started back in at the end of 2017. I was introduced by a group of three guys, some Canadian guys, to Etsy. During that time, they were teaching selling customized sneakers, which it was something that I saw one of their videos and kind of got my attention. So I joined their course, and then I was kind of introduced, and then I started doing it 2018. During that time, I was going to college, so I was kind of not doing it full time, just kind of jumping in and there. I had a job too during that time. So they introduced. I did some trainings with them during that time. The sneakers were actually, the profit margin was actually really good. It was about like $30, and then we were kind of shipping. There was an American company in China who was producing them. So what I did is I would pay for express shipping, which with the production time and the shipping coming from China, it would take about 8, 9 days, which was still really good. So I did the training all of 2018. I kind of went ahead and I was doing that. 2019 came, I kind of like, I was working, college and stuff. So I kind of stopped. Then 2020, everybody knows what happened. I kind of lost my job. So that's when I came back in. I started looking more into Etsy. And then for the rest of the year, I was still hitting like about three K a month in revenue. I was doing what it was called. It was a system called LHS, low hanging system, which it would just launch as many listings and whatever sticks, right? And it was pretty well. And then I wasn't even using any ads, so it was decent, like the profit going there. And then 2021, starts kind of the same, doing 3 to 4K. And then summer comes along, and then somebody follows me on Instagram, someone that probably everybody knows if they're watching this video, named Jesse. And he follows me. I DM him, asking him how much was his program and stuff. And then from there, just everything just took off. So that's kind of like a quick rundown from like when I started 2021 and then moving forward. Well, now we're here.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you started with sneakers, man. That's actually news to me. That's really cool. What have you ran to date? Just a quick question on this before I move on to the next question. What is your total revenue in the POD space since everything kicked off? Well, you can say maybe basically from 2021 and on. What have you ran totally?
So last time I checked, we were nearing the 4 million. I know for that's all from like 2021 till now. At this year, we already crossed a million, and then for Q4, we're expecting that alone to just do a million too. So hopefully this year we're for sure past 2 million just on Etsy alone.
That's amazing. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. So out of everything, so far, what has been your biggest catalyst for your success in the POD space? If you could narrow it down to one main thing, what would that be?
Focusing on the customer. I think just keeping it as simple as that. Just not thinking I like this design, I like this product, I'm a product. It's just literally focusing on the customer, which comes to like the trends and stuff like that. So yeah, keep it simple, focus on the customer.
Love that. Love that. So piggybacking off of that, what would be your biggest piece of advice for someone who's new coming into the POD space? They're brand new to POD. It's 2024. What would be your biggest piece of advice for them? Is it the same thing? Is it something different? What would you say?
So yeah, I would say it's the same thing, but one something else that I think it would be as important is trying to find a supplier that's not like Printify or Printful like everybody's using, and then you'll be at a much better advantage. Just launching products that very few sellers are doing. So just looking for those hidden POD companies, and just so most people know, I don't use Printify or Printful. I use, like I said, more hidden print providers.
Love that. See, that's a little bit of secret sauce right there right away. Find the strategic print providers out there and leverage the product types that not millions of users have access to. I think Printify, their total numbers are somewhere around 10 million users are on Printify today in 2024, which is an astronomical number of people going for the same exact product. So I think you're spot on there. So let's continue through. So with, there's the good sides and then there's the bad side. So I'd love to know, what has been your biggest hang up in the POD space since you started your journey? Has there been something that's been a bottleneck, something that's pulled you down, something that's been difficult to navigate through? What has been that biggest hang up?
I for sure, I'll say the mindset. Especially because we're kind of like the gifting space, and then obviously we have like our ups and downs, especially right now in the summer. The first years it was hard because there was a lot of negativity. Like the sales would really just drop after Father's Day. So the first thing that would come to mind is like, what if it stopped working, or what if it doesn't work anymore? So I think that was literally the biggest struggle for me. It was kind of overcoming that. Now, like this year, this is, I think, the most important time of the year. Most people take off, I'm going on vacation, it's slow sales, but this is where you build, and this pays off for the rest of the year and the following year. So this is literally the most important time of the year for me. So yeah, it was overcoming that, and now looking at saying there's not a lot of sales, but this is where we get better. We get get better mock-ups. We get more training. We train our like team and stuff like that. So yeah, it was overcoming that, like I said, a negative mindset.
Yeah, I love that. It's super important, man. When you come into the space and you start to get some traction, like you're saying, and then it goes from a good season to a dry season. And as you're building your business, you go through a lot of that at first because you basically are building a very strong table, good foundation. Your table only has one leg at first, and one leg can only get you so far. And you got to keep putting another leg, and building that structure to be able to actually have consistency. Because on a platform, I say this all the time, your business is no more and no less than the amount of search volume that you're leveraging. That is literally all you have to work with. So if you have a little bit of search volume you're leveraging, then your business is going to be small, or it's going to be very vulnerable to ups and downs because the search categories you're in can be really skewed. And so as you spend more time focusing on more search volume, you get more and more and more of a foundation to your business and consistency day in and day out. So I think you hit that one right on the head. Super, super good there. So it's 2024. Sometimes there's negative talk about the POD space being saturated. It's difficult. You can't drive success in this season. But you have some data that to me would actually contradict that completely. You're hitting new PRs in 2024 that you've never hit before. So how are you able to continue hitting new PRs in 2024? And maybe you can run me through some of the numbers that you hit in the recent months for those PRs.
Yeah. So for example, for one of our shops last year, I was looking for like the peak of like Mother's Day. We did, well, I would just say for all of May, we did 35, a little bit over 35K just for last year. And then we look back to this year, we did a little bit over 76K just for the same store. What we did is we added more products. Going back to what you said earlier, it's leveraging the search volume. Last year, we only had two products for that shop, like two different. When I say that, it's kind of like, let's say mugs and shirts. Now this year we added like, let's say tumblers and sweatshirts. So now we're leveraging from four different uh, categories. And then I think that's what really helped us just, obviously we got more traffic, more people searching for our stuff. And it was just literally just leveraging. And then we saw that, and then we just literally implementing in every shop we have the same thing. We want to have at least four different products for each shop. And it doesn't matter, like they don't have to be in the same category. At first I used to do that, like it was all in the drinkware. Now it's like shirts, hats, mugs, and let's say Christmas ornaments. And we just want to leverage as much search traffic as possible.
Yeah, no, it's spot on. I love that. So super, super smart, by the way. Doubling down on different product types in those same search categories for Mother's Day to extend your reach even further with all that. How many total shops do you have right now that you're trying to target that 4 product types per shop?
Yeah, so I want to go back a little bit, what I was saying right now. And then what's important though is don't just start launching different products first. Understand one, get it to work, and then go to the next one. For me, it's different. Like right now, let's say we work on 2 new ones at the same time. That's because I already have a team and I have the experience and I already know like how to work it. But if you just, getting started, just do one. If you want to do shirts, just get as many shirts up, based on, search and do your research and stuff like that. Once you have those shirts working, go and launch, well, let's say sweatshirts, because now use and then another thing you could do is shirts and sweatshirts are pretty similar. So you can just go ahead and leverage the work you did there and just put them in the other ones. don't go from like shirts to like let's say blankets when it's completely different. So yeah, just kind of understanding that. And then sorry, I forgot your next question. What was it again?
Oh, no, no, you're good. I was wondering, so with kind of piggybacking off of that, you're saying, you're targeting 4 product types per shop. So how many shops are you up to now? Because again, I'm so glad you went back and you're giving clarity because some people would think, oh, I got to have all these shops and all these product types. And that's completely backwards when you're first starting. But you are, way down the road, almost hitting $4 million and you have a team. So it makes a lot of sense for you. But just wondering, today, you're in PR. So how many shops do you have currently?
So yeah, so currently we have 7,
Uh-huh.
and then I go back to what I said earlier. A lot of people when they hear that they ask me, "Oh, when should I open a second shop or a third shop?" I'm like, when the first one is working, right? If you just put a number in mind, for me at the beginning it was 20K. When I took the coaching with Jesse, that was our goal. I still have the Google Doc where we set our monthly goal. It's 20K. I still have that, and for me it was always like, okay, at least 20K, and then I'll open the second one. I did that with the first one. I went with the second one. I did the same thing. The third one. Now, like I said, since I have a team, I can go and open 2 at the same time. But then I already know what's gonna, happen, and it just be like that. But yeah, first is if you want to open up the second one, make sure the first one is, actually making money. You understand the system. If not, you're just gonna be kind of, chasing 2 things, and you're not gonna end up catching anything.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Yeah, one thing I always talk about too, whenever I'm coaching someone or pouring into on like what you should actually do, I always talk about the foundation you lay with your first product type is going to be the most important because the beauty of the POD space is it is a rinse and repeat model. There's differences for every product type, but it's the same exact process when you really get into it. So if you have that front end process, you rush through it, you cut corners, you don't fully learn how to do your research. You don't really do the best designs. You do good enough designs and you do good enough photos and good enough pricing and good enough. And if you're playing the good enough game just to go like rapid fire because you're super, you want to get progress, what you'll do is you'll make a process that doesn't give you the results that you want. So it's much better to slow down, get one product type perfected, go through the ups and downs, the learning curves, the difficulties, the frustration, and then only then do you transition to your second. But the beauty is, if you can really understand, this is like a golden key for everyone, get that first product type dialed in. And if you have seen the results from it, now your business is going to grow like crazy because you can duplicate that over and over and over again, like Edgar's doing. So that's spot on. Thank you so much again for
Yeah.
going back to that and just pouring in some clarity there. Um, awesome. So Edgar, you've generated, massive numbers in the POD space that, POD sellers would dream of hitting. If you can give me some secret sauce, whether it's actual secret sauce or not, I'd love to know like high level or something, just that secret sauce that would separate sellers from the pack. What would that secret sauce be?
Well, I could be here for the whole day. There's so many things. I would say that, for example, if you're getting started, I think I would lay it out in like different levels. So, for example, if you're getting started, the most important thing is getting the fundamentals right in your mindset. So, I think that would be like the most important thing when you're getting started. If you're kind of in the middle, like seller, I think it would be a little different. It'll be again investing in hiring like your first person to help you do like the simple stuff like mock-ups, uploading, anything like that. And you should be focused on the one that's bringing you the money, like the research design. And then if you're kind of like a little higher, I would say, like I said again, just delegating more stuff so you could be focused on the most important stuff. So I think again, if you're a beginner, it'll be like that in the mindset and mastering the fundamentals. And if you're like in a middle seller, it'll be like I said, just delegating like one or to one person, which will be like creating titles, tags, so you can just focus on design, research. That's exactly what I did. When I was like in like I feel like I was like, okay, I'm not like beginner, but I'm not advanced. I was like, okay, what are the things that drive the revenue or the money? And I was like, research, design. Obviously, there's a lot of things, but I thought that was the most crucial. I found somebody to help me upload, titles, tags, training on that. And I would just research, designing, giving it to her, research, designing, and I just kept doing that over and over and over. And then now, obviously, like at a higher level, and you just kind of have a whole team, and you're just seeing it. Like for example, now what I do is if I'm open up a new shop, I'm the one that researches what products. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do 4. I go in there, research everything about every product, see what designs work, see if there's any trends. Can we scale the product to different niches like nurses, moms, stuff like that to leverage all the search volume? Once that's done, I kind of work on the designs, do some trainings. Once I'm like confident, I'm like, okay, I have good mock-ups, the trainings are good. I send it out to everybody and then start working, and then we just see the shop grow on its own.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah. When you are going to delegate anything, and I'm so glad you covered this as well. The first things you want to delegate out are the most time-consuming things that are not as important for you to be able to isolate and say, okay, it's going to be the most important for me to do the research and design, and I can delegate out the mock-ups, I can delegate out the titles and tags. That is a great first place to start. You don't want to just immediately delegate it. And like you said, even backtracking further, before you can even think about that at all, you got to lay the foundation in, because if you don't know how to do the process, you can't teach anyone anything.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
hiring your first VA makes no sense if you don't know how to make good designs or make good titles or make good mock-ups. You got to perfect that first, and then you can delegate it out. But you're spot on, man. You got to start with those easy things first. And that's what I did. It was about a year and a half or so into my business, maybe close to 2 years before I hired anyone. And the first thing I started hiring was for producing mockups, and then titles and tags next, because those are easier things to teach. And I continued to design myself. Even though I'm not a good designer, I'm a really good researcher. So I was able to design well with that. And then over
Mm-hmm.
time, I eventually hired a graphic designer and eventually had a full team. And the very last product type that I launched for my Etsy store before moving into the production environment with Inner Circle Prints, my team fully did the start to finish of that. And that was a few years into the process of teaching everyone the components, where they did everything from the research to the designing to the uploading. But it took like 3-4 years to get to that point to be able to fully delegate out an entire product launch to my team. So yes, start with easy things first and move from there.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I want to add to that is a few things. Like, for example, it also comes down to what are the things you like and you don't like. Like, for example, I enjoy the research, which I have some people that I train, but I still do it. Like, I enjoy it so much because I just learn so many things. Like, for example, there's a lot of tools, but I like to do it manually because I feel like just the process of doing manually, you go even deeper and you understand it more. As with a research tool, kind of everybody just pulls the data, they just see what's in the front end. Bestseller, popular now, okay, I'm gonna do this one. When you do a manual, reading through reviews, looking at the listings, either they offer different variation, what kind of fonts, all kind of stuff like that. And then another thing is when it comes to delegating, I noticed that most people make the mistake of they hire, let's say, a designer, and they give them a list. Here it is, make these designs here. The most important thing is you have to train them, right? Most people just give them a list, make them, and then they come and like, oh, I've hired like 3 different designers, none of them work. I asked them, well, how much training you do? Oh, one day I kind of went an overview and I showed them how it works, and then I expect them, they're designers, right? But I told them the thing is, with the designer, they know how to make nice designs, but they don't know what's selling. So you have to do the training. It goes the same if you're hiring for like your titles, your mock-ups. You have to train them and then consistently. That's kind of what I spend a lot of my time now, is just training. A lot of Loom videos, live calls. I like mostly recorded ones. Unless I'm going to introduce a new product, then I'll go ahead and like, bring everybody. But this is a new product. This is what's working. When you personalize, make sure it's this, and that. Again, it comes back to the training. It's another, like, you remove yourself from like the titles, customer service stuff, but then you gotta do the training. Like it doesn't necessarily become easier, but I think it becomes more exciting.
Yeah, yeah, love that. I hope everyone goes back, rewinds just a few minutes, and listens back to where Edgar just started. He said, I don't like to go the automated approach. I like to go the manual approach. So a huge indicator right away. Top 1% of the 1% POD sellers in the Etsy space, Edgar, is saying you can automate out some things, but you need to get in and do the work. And this is what everyone wants to avoid. They want a software to spit out a magic list of things, and then they want to just be able to magically produce the same results because they have the data in front of them, they can utilize it. But until you dive in and you go product by product, you dive into reviews, you see the nuances, like variations versus not, what are they doing with these fonts, and you become a master where you know it so well. That, my friends, is the thing that separates you out. So for those of you out there who are trying to automate every single aspect, you can either choose one of two paths right now. I'll throw it out to you guys. You can either choose the automated approach that will continue to produce weak results, or you can finally say enough is enough and I'm going to actually do the work. and you can be on the journey to be just like Edgar in this process. So thank you so much for doubling down on that. That is such an important piece that so many people miss because they want to just rush through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me step over for a little bit. I want to show everybody something here. So look at this. What are these right here, Justin? Notepads, right? I
Yeah.
already went through two, and guess what? Everything's here. When I do the manual research, if you just see it here, this is one. This is again another one. If you see, it just everything I'm seeing, I'm noticing. I write it down, and I already have since I finished that one. I have a third one that's clean, and I'm gonna start using today, ready to go. So it just shows you like you just have to literally go through there, just everything, just taking notes, seeing like it's if you want to go to like to a higher level, most people on YouTube would just make it seem like it's easy, just launch, run this tool, and then you see bestsellers, make your own. It doesn't work that way. If you want something that you can repeat over and over and over, it's just how we do it. Once you learn the system, it becomes easier, but you first have to do the work. And see, you don't have to be great at doing everything as long as you understand the basics. Like, I don't think I'm, the best customer service person, but at least I understand, some basic stuff. I can teach somebody. And then when I go hire a VA for customer service, if they have experience, guess what? I had one who I couldn't even do it the same way. And she enjoys it. Believe it or not, there's people who enjoy customer service. That's why you go and hire them, and like they're even doing it better than you.
Yeah. Love that. Man, this has been so good. So unexpected. I didn't even know you're going to walk away and come back with your journal, your notepads of all that. That the hilarious part there is I think that a lot of people who are just getting going do way less research than someone who's already done product type after product type after product type, ran hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're probably doing more research than a lot of people do on the front end. So if you want to be like Edgar, get yourself a notepad and write down everything, learn it, see it visually, digest it, put it on paper, and rehearse and really understand it. Man, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that there. I didn't ask you this before. I'm gonna throw this out here for maybe a potential future video we could do, because you're talking on things that you don't really hear often on YouTube, with like delegating things out to a team and training people up, and like how you've been able to advance in your journey. Would you maybe be up for, and you guys can let us know in the comments below if you would love to have Edgar back to talk through some of this, but would you be up for coming back on and talking about kind of how you delegate things out and what that kind of looks like a little bit more behind the scenes, possibly?
Well, yeah, definitely. If people are interested, and I'm for sure, come back here and then give some details, some tricks, and whatever. But yeah, we can definitely do something.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Well, yeah, let us know, guys, in the comments below if you want Edgar to come back on, continue pouring out some more high level knowledge, and then talking about delegating. So, yeah, thank you so much, man. This was really, really valuable. Really excited to get this out to everyone. And if you guys are all the way to this point in the video, please go back and rewatch it. Extract out those gold nuggets because Edgar dropped a bunch here. And thank you so much, Edgar. Really appreciate you having you on. And is there any last words of advice or anything you want to give out to anyone before I let you go?
Again, there's no secret sauce. It's just putting in the work. Master the fundamentals when it comes to research, design, launch. I always kind of, there's more things there, but I always say those things. And pretty much from there, once you master that, you understand research, you leverage it, everything will start kind of, growing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. It was awesome having you on. I look forward to our next one.
Of course. Thank you.